Hey guys, Mike here, and recently my friend Greg asked me if I knew anything about a captured recoil spring and guide rod for the Walther P22 pistol. And I had to admit I really hadn't heard that much about it, but it certainly piqued my interest. I love the Walther P22, especially as a suppressor host. But it is a little bit of a pain to put back together after you've cleaned the firearm. Those of you who may not be familiar with my YouTube channel, let me tell you, my goal is to try to get an objective evaluation of any product or comparison of different products that I might be reviewing. And I do this from a consumer standpoint. Since I really didn't know much about a P22 captured spring and guide rod, I did what any good consumer would do. I Googled it. And in doing so, I found what looks like 3 different options. There are 3 companies that manufacture captured springs and guide rods for the P22. The companies that I found were Tandem Cross, Galloway Precision, and Brass Stacker. And so I tried to evaluate the available information before making a decision about which one of these I was going to order. The Tandem Cross and Galloway Precision are available for around $20, and the Brass Stacker sells for about $30. As far as the design and structure of these different products, all 3 have stainless steel guide rods and single wire springs. The Tandem Cross has a uniform diameter guide rod, and the Galloway Precision and Brass Stacker have guide rods that aren't uniform in diameter throughout their length. The Tandem Cross and the Brass Stacker use a brass bushing, while the Galloway Precision is all stainless steel. The Tandem Cross and the Galloway Precision use a machined one-piece guide rod, while the Brass Stacker uses a button-head screw to hold the brass bushing in place. The Tandem Cross and Brass Stacker offer a lifetime warranty, while the Galloway Precision just offers a 30-day money-back guarantee with a 20% restocking fee. So looking at all of these differences, I couldn't really see why the Brass Stacker was worth $10 more than the other 2 products. And since the Tandem Cross had a lifetime warranty and it was available at the less expensive price, then I decided to go with the Tandem Cross product. Now, if any of these products had had a multi-wire spring, like the original spring in the P22, then I probably would have favored that product. And certainly, if the $30 product had a multi-wire spring, then I think that would have been a difference that might be worth the extra $10. So the product I finally decided on was this Tandem Cross Sentinel spring rod with a lifetime warranty and a cost of about $20. We take it out of the package. You can see it has the brass bushing, and it is permanently attached to the guide rod. The guide rod is machined with a stop to capture the bushing and the spring. The guide rod has a uniform diameter, where the other 2 products were narrower up front. And I'm not sure, what difference that may or may not make. One thing that I wish these products had was the multi-wired spring. This is the multi-wired spring that comes in the P22. This is your guide rod, and this tool is supplied with P22s. So when you reassemble this, we'll go through that real quickly. I have already installed one of these in my range gun. This is the P22 that I shoot the most. And one thing I would like to talk to my viewers about is I was looking for a holster that would work with the P22 and this Outback suppressor. And this is a Fobus Glock holster. The model is GL2, and it was just a perfect fit. It has retention, it has clearance, and it just works perfectly for this combination. Very nice. So if there are some of you who have a P22 that you suppress, and you have a suppressor that is the diameter of the Outback 2, then this GL2 model Fobus holster should serve you pretty well. Now, let's check the diameter, because you can see there's not a lot of extra room, and if you had a wider suppressor, you may not have enough clearance. So the Outback 2, let's just check and see what kind of diameter we have. Okay, right at 1 inch, 1.009. So if your suppressor for your 22 is wider than 1 inch, then you may not be able to use this holster. But if you have a suppressor that's 1 inch or less, it's going to work very well. So I just wanted to point this out for my viewers. This is an excellent holster combination. It's comfortable. This is a very light package for just trekking, and you have a very quiet, dependable 22 pistol with you. So this is a unused P22 that I had hanging in the vault wall. So let's just use this to show our installation. Put the gun on safe. It's clear. This has the standard barrel nut that comes from the factory. One of the reasons I got interested in the P22 is because of this barrel nut that holds the barrel shroud on. You can buy an adapter which basically just replaces the barrel nut and adds threads. So this is a very easy firearm to convert to a threaded barrel and use as a suppressor host. Now, one thing I need to bring up is with the adapter, when you go to disassemble your firearm for cleaning and maintenance, the barrel nut is going to need to come off. But what I found is with my suppressor threads, the 1/2 by 28 threads are stronger than the threads that hold the barrel nut. And so when I go to disassemble my suppressed P22 and I remove the suppressor, the barrel nut comes off, and the adapter and barrel nut stay with the suppressor. So I don't have to use any tools at all when I go to clean this particular firearm with the threaded adapter in place. But if your suppressor doesn't do that and it just unscrews from the barrel nut, then you would have to use the supplied thin wrench and remove the adapter when you do the disassembly. So that would be one difficulty that is introduced when you have the thread adapter. But like I said, in my case, that just doesn't come into play because I just unscrew like this when I go to strip and clean the gun. And now that I have the captive recoil spring, it's completely simplified the takedown and cleaning of this particular suppressor host firearm. So let's start from scratch with installation. We have our standard setup from the factory for the P22. We have our tandem cross with its stainless steel guide rod, the brass bushing with a captured recoil spring. Weapons cleared. We'll take the magazine out. Pull down on the takedown lever. We'll go to the rear, lift up, and slide out. Now here you see the spring and the guide rod is loose. And the rub comes in trying to reassemble this. So after you've cleaned this firearm, you're ready to reassemble. You position the guide rod in the frame. Now you have to try to get this spring to stay in position. And so they include this little plastic tool. It just kind of lines up with the guide rod, and you use the plastic tool to hold the spring in position. And we got to get the rod started. Come on, baby. The rod's got to go. Well, you know, that was such a tight fit, I couldn't get the rod started. So I'm going to start the rod. This is a brand new pistol. So I'm going to start the rod here. Let's see if we can do it that way. So we're going to put the guide rod in position. The recoil spring is out. The guide rod, this little plastic tool, I went ahead and started in the hole in the slide. So we're going to put the spring in like that. There you go. And then we're going to have to guide the barrel into its hole. Okay, well, the rod came out of position. Yeah, okay. So, there. Okay, now it popped in position, and we'll put it down there. So, that looks good. Okay, so you know, it's just a little bit of a hassle with that free recoil spring like that. Let's go ahead now and show the installation of the captured recoil spring and guide rod. Drop the hammer, take the magazine out. Okay, pull down on the takedown. Now we go back and release this. Now let's get rid of the guide rod and spring. Like I said, I wish this spring were used in these captured guide rods and recoil springs, but they aren't. Now, so here we have the tandem cross. We'll put the end in the receiver. You have the brass bushing up front. Looks very nice. Let's just see now. So here you have to line up the brass bushing. And go back. And that was it. So certainly, close that now. Look at that. That was the installation, guys. So now if we had a dirty gun and we want to clean it, we have the captured recoil spring. When we disassemble it, it kind of falls out in one piece. Clean the gun as usual. Clean the slide as usual. Get ready to put it back together. Here the only trick is that you just need to make sure that the brass bushing and guide rod line up with the hole and the barrel lines up with the hole. So here you can see that their barrel and the guide rod are in position. Once you kind of verify that they're in position, you just slide it back, and that is it. Easy peasy. Now out in the field, we had 100% reliability using this host firearm with a suppressor. I used a variety of ammunition. We used Remington Goldens. I even used the Dynapoints. This setup was reliable even with Dynapoints, which are notorious for being underpowered and not being very reliable in semi-automatic firearms. We used target ammunition, subsonic, standard velocity, and high velocity. My hope is that with this information, you'll be able to make the best decision for yourself about which of these products you want to try out. I've tried to review the differences in design and cost so that you can make a better informed decision for yourself. Certainly, I think any of these three products are an improvement as far as making this particular pistol easier to clean, maintain, and assemble. And viewers, don't forget, if you're going to use a suppressor that has a 1-inch diameter or less and you're looking for a holster, this really works well. You get good retention and you get just enough clearance for your silencer. It's a very easy draw. There's no binding. and these are relatively inexpensive holsters. If you have any questions or comments, as always, please post those, and I'll try to respond to those in a timely fashion. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.